Another significant impact of climate change on marine life is the loss of polar ice, which affects species that rely on sea ice for survival. In the Arctic, sea ice is melting at an unprecedented rate, threatening species such as polar bears, seals, and penguins. Polar bears, for example, depend on sea ice to hunt seals, their primary food source. As the ice melts, they are forced to travel greater distances to find food, leading to increased energy expenditure and a decline in body condition. This not only affects individual bears, but also has broader implications for polar bear populations as a whole. Similarly, seals and penguins that use sea ice for breeding and resting are finding it increasingly difficult to survive as their habitat disappears. The effects of climate change on marine life are not limited to specific species or regions. They have the potential to disrupt entire ecosystems. For example, the loss of biodiversity due to coral bleaching, ocean acidification, and the decline of polar species could lead to the collapse of marine food webs. This, in turn, could affect human communities that depend on marine resources for food, tourism, and livelihoods. Additionally, the changing behavior of fish populations, including their migration patterns and reproductive cycles, could have long-term consequences for global food security, as many communities rely on fish as a primary source of protein. In conclusion, the impact of climate change on marine life is far-reaching and multifaceted. From rising ocean temperatures and acidification to the loss of polar ice and changing currents, marine ecosystems are facing unprecedented challenges. The consequences of these changes are already being felt, and they will likely intensify in the coming decades. Addressing the impacts of climate change on marine life requires immediate and concerted global action. Efforts to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, protect vulnerable species and habitats, and promote sustainable fishing practices are essential if we are to preserve the health and biodiversity of the world's oceans for future generations.